Have you ever noticed that two people can experience the exact same situation and walk away with completely different results? One person sees opportunity, another sees obstacles. One person expects success, another expects failure. According to Neville Goddard, the difference is often found in a hidden force that most people never notice: their assumptions. Neville believed that what you consistently assume to be true about yourself and your life eventually becomes your experience. This idea became known as the law of assumption, and it may be the most important teaching he ever shared. In fact, nearly every technique Neville taught, from visualization to SATs to revision, was designed to help people apply this one principle. In this video, we'll explore what the law of assumption is, why Neville believed it works, and how you can begin applying it in your own life. Let's begin. At its simplest, the law of assumption states that whatever you assume to be true and persist in believing eventually becomes your experience. Notice that Neville didn't focus on wishing. He didn't focus on hoping. He didn't focus on wanting. He focused on assuming. An assumption is something you accept as true. You may not consciously think about it every day, but it influences how you interpret the world around you. For example, one person may assume opportunities are difficult to find. Another may assume opportunities are everywhere. One person may assume people are generally supportive. Another may assume people are critical and judgmental. According to Neville, these assumptions influence the experiences that follow. This is where his teaching differs from positive thinking. Positive thinking focuses on changing individual thoughts. The law of assumption focuses on changing the identity and state from which those thoughts arise. Neville taught that you must begin seeing yourself as the person you wish to become, not eventually, not after circumstances change, not someday, now. Let's look at a simple example. Imagine two people interviewing for the exact same position. The first person assumes rejection is likely. Before the interview even begins, they're thinking, they probably won't choose me. I'm not qualified enough. There are better candidates. As a result, they enter the interview nervous, hesitant, and uncertain. Now imagine the second person. This person assumes they are a strong candidate. They think, I have something valuable to offer. I belong here. I can do this job. Notice what happens. Their posture changes. Their confidence changes. Their communication changes. Even before the outcome is known, their assumption influences their experience. Neville believed this principle extends far beyond interviews. He taught that assumptions influence the opportunities we notice, the actions we take, and ultimately the reality we experience. Perhaps Neville's most famous instruction was this: assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This simple phrase contains the essence of the law of assumption. Most people focus on what they lack. If they want more money, they focus on financial problems. If they want a relationship, they focus on being alone. If they want success, they focus on current limitations. Neville encouraged people to reverse this habit. Instead of focusing on what's missing, focus on the emotional state you would experience if your desire had already become reality. How would you feel? Would you feel secure, confident, grateful, relieved, peaceful? According to Neville, these feelings are not merely reactions to future events. They are part of the creative process itself. Consider someone who desires a loving relationship. Many people spend years thinking, I'm alone. Why hasn't it happened yet? Maybe it never will. Neville believed these thoughts reinforced the state of lacking love. Instead, he encouraged people to identify with the state of already being loved. Imagine how someone feels when they know they are appreciated, valued, and loved. They tend to feel secure. They tend to feel worthy. They tend to carry themselves differently. They tend to expect positive interactions. Neville's point was not to pretend that circumstances don't exist. His point was to become familiar with the emotional state associated with the fulfilled desire. The more natural that state becomes, the more naturally your actions and expectations begin to align with it. Neville frequently spoke about states of consciousness. He believed every possible experience exists as a state. There is a state of confidence, a state of insecurity, a state of abundance, a state of scarcity, a state of love, a state of loneliness. Most people attempt to change circumstances while remaining in the same state. Neville suggested doing the opposite. Change the state first, then allow circumstances to follow. According to Neville, your task is not to force reality to change. Your task is to occupy the state associated with your desired outcome. Once you consistently live from that state, reality begins reflecting it back to you. One of the greatest challenges people face is persistence. Many people assume their wish is fulfilled for a day or two, then they begin checking for results. When nothing immediately changes, doubt returns. Neville compared this process to planting a seed. Imagine a farmer planting seeds in a field. The farmer does not return the next morning and dig up the seeds to see whether they're growing. The farmer understands that growth happens beneath the surface before it becomes visible. Neville believed assumptions operate in much the same way. There is often a period between the assumption and its visible expression. The key is persistence. Remain faithful to the new assumption even when circumstances have not yet caught up. Another practical tool Neville taught was mental conversations. Pay attention to the conversations you rehearse in your imagination throughout the day. Many people repeatedly imagine arguments. They imagine rejection. They imagine criticism. They imagine failure. Neville encouraged people to consciously create different inner conversations. Imagine hearing a friend congratulate you. Imagine receiving good news. Imagine someone telling you how proud they are of your accomplishments. Imagine hearing the exact words you would hear if your desire had already been fulfilled. These imagined conversations reinforce the assumption that your desired outcome has already occurred. Perhaps one of Neville's most powerful teachings involves self-concept. Self-concept is the collection of beliefs you hold about yourself. Do you believe you are valuable, capable, respected, confident? Or do you believe you are limited, unlucky, or unworthy? Neville believed that changing self-concept often produces the most dramatic transformations. Why? Because every assumption about life begins with an assumption about yourself. When your self-concept changes, your expectations change, your behavior changes, your decisions change, and often your results begin changing as well. The law of assumption is not about controlling other people. It is not about forcing outcomes. It is about transforming the assumptions through which you experience life. As those assumptions change, your actions, reactions, opportunities, and experiences often begin changing as well. Perhaps the most important lesson Neville offered is this: stop allowing current circumstances to define who you are. Instead, decide who you want to be and begin assuming that identity now. This doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means refusing to let present conditions become permanent conclusions. Every major change begins as an unseen assumption. Before a building exists, there is a blueprint. Before an invention exists, there is an idea. Before an achievement exists, there is a belief that it can be done. Neville simply took this principle to its ultimate conclusion. He taught that imagination is the blueprint of reality itself. The law of assumption can be summarized in a single sentence. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and persist in that assumption until it becomes your reality. Whether you interpret Neville's teachings spiritually, psychologically, or philosophically, the message remains powerful. The assumptions you repeatedly accept as true influence the life you experience. So, ask yourself, what assumptions am I carrying today? And are they creating the future I truly want? If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more Neville Goddard teachings, manifestation principles, and practical techniques for transforming consciousness. Until next time, assume wisely.